30 plus years of service. Combat medals, citations. Only man to shoot down 3 enemy planes in the last 40 years. Yet you can't get a promotion, you won't retire. Despite your best efforts, you refuse to die.
One of the best things I learned from Tom is a real dedication to the art form. The guy studies movies like no one I've ever seen in my entire life. He lives and breathes. He knows just as much as like the DP, the gaffer, the sound designer, the aerial coordinator. Like, he's a guy that truly studies every part of the business. He is one of the greatest stuntmen we've ever had. He knows how to coordinate these things in a great way. There's this one scene, I can't give too much away, but there's one scene that I have where there's like a physical stunt with the two of us, and I really got to see up close in a great way, like his mastery of, I mean, obviously he's Ethan Hunt, you know, he's a guy who's been doing hand-to-hand combat and all this sort of stuff for a very, very long time, but getting to watch him talk about it with every department head, you just go, oh, this guy really cares so much. And I think I took away from that, like, in my career going forward, really never getting complacent and like really caring about the art form and wanting to kind of keep raising the bar and entertain audiences. I've never met someone so dedicated who talks about the audience and the experience that they're going to feel more than Tom. That's all he cares about. He just wants people's jaws to be on the floor about what we do, and he will do anything to make that happen. And as an actor and as an audience member and someone who's such a fan of the original, that's all you want, is a guy who's not going, I want the paycheck. Is a guy going, I don't care about any of that. I just want to make sure people are entertained around the world. And he is just, he's a consummate entertainer and a guy that has stayed on top for so long because he just cares. So, you know, I think that's the greatest lesson I took away is keep your heart in it, and, you know, people will still show up.
You should be at least a 2-star admiral by now. Yet here you are. Captain. Why is that?
It's one of life's mysteries, sir.
I've really modeled a lot of my career after the guy, and I'm very, very grateful to count him as a mentor and friend in that way, because I feel a lot more clear about the path going forward, you know, in terms of my career and like how I choose movies and how I sort of approach these things, because he's you know, he's like he can help. Like, you couldn't have a better guy, you know, in your pocket to sort of be like, hey, like, what do you think about this movie? Like, would you do this? Like, you know, how would you go about doing this? And he's just so wise. He's such a student. So. You know, my little sister came, well, we shot this thing, we shot it and reshot it. He's a perfectionist. He wants this thing to be absolutely perfect. So, you know, she came, you know, at the beginning of the process, and then towards the later in the process, they had, I don't know, let's call it a, 10-minute conversation. You know, my whole family's there. He remembered every detail of that conversation, and he followed up about it. And he said, hey, that thing that you were working on, like, how is that going? Like, can you send me some of your music? Can you do this? And he remembered like the name of the song. And he was like, oh, I listened to this thing. I was like, it's a degree of caring about another person and their interests. I've never met someone who has such a who's so plugged in to people and remembers the names of your family. It's a real superpower.
The end is inevitable, Maverick. Your kind is headed for extinction.
Maybe so, sir. But not today.